welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Bit. It's a little bit of a Monday. It's Summer League week, by the way. So if you are joining us, we will be making our way out to Las Vegas here on Thursday. We'll be out there Thursday to Monday, excuse me. We're seeing some Cooper starting it off with Cooper Flag and the Lakers. We might actually finagle in some pickup hoops if that's why you travel to Vegas. We'll have that little pool party action. It's going to be good times all around. We'll get more into that as we get later into the show. Got a fun one today, diving into some of the sloppy slop from the last couple of days. We even had a trade. We got a sham slam, as they call it in the business, a sham slam. We got a trade. It was good. Boston Base, I saw that they're doing all that stuff on Saturday. What do we got in the chat today, by the way? We got Snoopaloop. It's Happy National Macaroni Day. That's huge. Huge news. Sneeps is up in here, Boston Base. Good to see everybody. So this is what we're going to do today. We'll talk a little. I already told you what we're going to do today. This is what we got going on the rest of the week. I'll be honest. We'll probably drop a fantasy video on our Elite Fantasy Hoop Sports channel tomorrow. And then Wednesday, it'll be a TBD. You know, if stuff gets a little feisty, a little funky, if we get some weird stuff happening, we'll fire it up. Otherwise, we might just wait till Vegas because we get a busy week ahead of us. Appreciate all of you guys who have been tapping likes and in the comments and all that stuff for some of the other content we've been dropping. But it's time to get to business. I hope everybody had a 4th of July weekend. Hope that was good. Oh, we got Zachary over there. Let's go. Zach coming over for the Celtics Daily channel, which, by the way, if you haven't tuned into the Celtics Daily channel, go check that out. We're dropping videos every single day over there. And here's a little behind the scenes. I was just icing my back. That's where we're at right now. We're washed, man. We are so washed. We're out here icing our back because our back's sore when we're sitting down. All right, let's go. So let's get into our sham slam. So if you missed it today, let's try sharing the screen like this. I've been messing around with some stuff. Let's see how does this look? How does this look here for you guys? Yeah, let's do that, huh? Breaking news. So we did get a fun trade today. And I thought this led me to believe that people have information about other things, right? But here's the deal. The Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends our guy, should have been all-star, Norman Powell to the Miami Heat. Johnny Collins goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. K-Love, Swiss, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick goes to the Utah Jazz. I kind of like this for everybody. I think this is Utah. I don't know what Utah's doing. Utah's just trying to assemble their crew of white people, I think, right? We've got Lowry. Now, by removing John Collins, they can roll out Lowry Markkanen, Kyle Filipowski, Walker Kessler Ranger, and now Kevin Love. I mean, dude, go get Goran Dragic, go get Luke Ridnour. Let's go find somebody else to sneak in there. Let's go a full starting five like it's like a 1960s, probably earlier than that, college basketball movie produced by Disney. Something like that, right? But anyways, that's what Utah's doing. The Clippers, though, I think this is kind of interesting. The Clippers offseason, they've kind of assembled now themselves. It's an older team for sure, but a team that feels like they can hang here in the postseason. So assuming what they've got right now, James Harden, I'm going to put Chris Dunn into the 2 spot right now, even though that's not going to last, but let's just do it based on what they have right now. Chris Dunn, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, then you can throw out John Collins at the 4, and Big Z, Ivica Zubac at the 5. Then You have Brolo, right? They picked up Brook Lopez. They brought Nicholas Batum back this offseason. They still have Derek Jones Jr., I believe. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, I believe, is still there, correct? I believe he's still there for one more year. So that gives them like 9 dudes that can play in the playoffs. Now, but I think what is most interesting about this leaves the Clippers, I believe, with like $5 million left of wiggle room. And there's 2 obvious guys who would make a ton of sense there. I thought what was pretty interesting over the weekend was Chris Paul was on Jamel Hill's show or podcast. They did some live performance, a panel talk back. I don't know what it was. And Chris Paul basically came out there and said, hey, this is it. This is his swan song. This is going to be the last season he's going to be playing basketball. We already knew that he had like 2 wants, right? One was to be closer to his kids, staying on the West Coast. Second was to have a meaningful role, like he would like to actually play minutes. I think this does open it up for him, right? I think this does open up the opportunity for CP3 to slide into this role. I think it makes a ton of sense. I don't know if you want him starting next to James Harden. I don't know how much sense that makes at this point, but is just a wonderful fit for CP3 and the Clippers. The other thing that's standing out there is Bradley Beal, and the Phoenix Suns continue to ramp up conversations around moving or doing something similar to that what Dame did with the Bucks, right? Which would be some sort of buyout extended waiver. It would basically take up somewhere around 13% of the cap, roughly between 11 and 13% of the cap for the next 5 years for the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal would have to give back, I think, like $14 million, something like that. To do this. And he would also have to agree to it. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But Bradley Beal would also make a ton of sense in that role. Probably more seamless of a fit than, say, Chris Paul, just because Bradley Beal does play a little bit more of the 2. And with the I guess defensively, that would still leave a little bit to desire. We also haven't seen like Bradley Beal play good, competent basketball in a little bit of time. So I don't know. It's something to think about, but clearly the Clippers are looking at this. I actually have been impressed by the Western Conference just in general, right? With the Oklahoma City Thunder, fresh off winning an NBA title, they have all their pieces coming back. They don't even have to spend a ton of money here for a little bit, right? And yet Houston Rockets are like, F that, we're going for it. Denver Nuggets, which we're talking about in a little bit, they also said, F that, we're going for it. And now you're seeing the Clippers out there saying, F that, we're still going for it. I think that's fun. I think that's a fun thing. So I think a good deal for the Clippers. I kind of like it. Thoughts on Ty Jerome? It's cool that Top Shot was able to use a Photoshop graphic of him in a Memphis Grizzlies jersey. I love that. Let's talk about it from the Miami side of things. This was a home run for Miami in the sense that they added a fringe all-star guard who, honestly, if you think about it, probably is, if he put up those numbers he did last year for the Clippers, but was in the Eastern Conference, Norman Powell probably makes the all-star team. So Norman Powell comes over. All they lost was Kevin Love and slow-mo, Kyle Anderson, right? Neither of those guys were playing too many meaningful minutes. Kevin Love, you needed like 2 or 3 injuries before he slid in there. Slow-mo, I don't know. I imagine neither of those guys are long for Utah, that they get bought out and get moved around or something, which I want to, well, let's finish this. So now you roll out, you got what? I need a hero. Let's do the Tyler Hero drop. I know our guy Zach's still here. So Zach, this is a little experience what you see when you come over to the NBA bit. So there you go. You got Tyler Hero. You have Norman Powell who can play next to him now. I imagine they roll out both bigs of Bam and Khalil Ware. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Khalil Ware. I know it's summer league, but man, Khalil Ware was out there balling in the California Classic. So you put those 4 together, and then I don't know who else you have. Maybe you go small. You let Davion Mitchell run around and play some defense. Maybe you see what you got with Jaime Jaquez, or maybe Nikola Jovic. So they've got some options. Again, I don't think this is a move where I'm like, Miami Heat, top 2 in the East. I'm not saying that, but for what they gave up, that's nice, right? Now if Hero is a Celtic, it'd be even better. Yeah, I don't know if we have any Celtics drops now that you say that. But anyways, good for Miami. I think this is good for the Clippers. Utah, I don't really know what Utah's doing. I know Weisberg, where you say in the chat about the pretty big trade exception. I think it's like 26 million or something like that. That's if they use it though. So I don't really know I don't really like, okay, Utah. I mean, maybe Utah's leaning into the youth movement, and Lowry Markkanen seems to be the only vet that's left, right? Jordan Clarkson's going to be with the Knicks. Colin Sexton's with the Hornets for now. You see John Collins leave. Walker Kessler is available, but for a pretty pricey point. So I don't really expect Walker Kessler to move unless they drop the price point on it. But I don't know. Pretty good move. Pretty good move, I think, all around. We also have this like peculiar stuff with Jonas Valanciunas, who supposedly has a deal in place with the Greek team and the Panathinaikos. That's not how. That's honestly, it's probably offensive. Did you see the Celtics going after Clippers center? Which Clippers? I don't think so. I don't think so. The center, the Brooklyn Nets center is the one. Like, there's reports here. Actually, let's do this before we get over to my name is Jonas Valanciunas. Let me go see if the Celtics actually came out and said, welcome to the team, Anthony Simons, because one thing that did happen today, yeah, they still haven't done it yet. They've only, so far, the Celtics, if you look at their soch, all they've done is go out there and say, thank you, Kristaps, thank you, Drew Holiday, thank you for everything you've done, which is nice. That is really nice. But they still have yet to welcome Anthony Simons. But I don't know if you guys had caught this. So now that these trades have officially gone through, the Celtics trade with Drew Holiday and Anthony Simons, the Portland Trailblazers actually took those 2 second-round picks back. And there was a weird reporting, not reporting, but messaging was a little bizarre because they made it clear. They were like, this has nothing to do with the physical. Drew Holiday is healthy as can be. He's ready to go. We just kind of looked at the trade more, and they were like, why are we giving you second-round picks? That is honestly what it sounds like. Brad Stevens actually did. Oh, yeah. Brad Stevens' comment was like, we're excited to have Anthony Simons and Georges Niang. Yeah. I'm just saying that the actual, like, we haven't seen anything publicly outside of the statements from Brad. But I still don't think Simons is going to be there because there was also some reporting, too, that the Celtics are poking the tires with the Brooklyn Nets and Nick Claxton, and that it would be like a Simons for Claxton type move. Again, I have no idea. The Boston rumor mill is kind of crazy right now. We mentioned Bradley Beal, but the other one that's out there is Damian Lillard. And it seems like that's picking up some real buzz, that Dame and his camp have come out. And I think since the last time we talked, I've said, like, hey, there's 3 landing spots we'd be cool with. The Golden State Warriors, which that would be where my betting money was at, Bay Area. You know, that's where he's from. He's played in the West Coast before. Gets to play with Steph, like, whatever. It would make some sense, right? But it does seem like the relationship Tatum has with Dame has helped to move things along. It sounds like Dame's camp has actually met or spoken with the Celtics, whether through proper channels or just through IG DMs. I don't know. But it sounds like the Dame to Boston stuff is really picking up. The other potential landing spot was the Miami Heat, and I don't necessarily think that is going to happen. I actually think this Miami move of scooping up Norm Powell and has kind of crossed off both Bradley Beal and Dame time from it. But I don't know. I don't know how the chat feels about Dame potentially going to Boston, but it sounds like there's a little bit more smoke to it. And I forgot. I did not, or I guess I just was unaware of the relationship Dame and Tatum had, and that they went back a little bit. I like the idea. It's hard to kind of disconnect Dame, what his normal salary is versus what this new salary would look like in this role. And apparently he's been open. Oh no, Zubac for Simons. No, that's not happening. That's definitely not happening. But that they've been throwing it out there that he's open to this vet min, right? And if Dame, I mean, dude, if they get him for a vet min, like that's just like low risk, high reward, right? Because the worst case scenario, you're not spending a ton of money. So if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. And even if it's something like, you know, you could offer him like a 2+1 with the +1 being a team option or even a player option for that matter. I imagine Dame probably only wants it to be a 2-year deal. So then he could, like, you know, if he is healthy, comes back and he starts cooking, probably wants to go actually make some real money. So I'm starting to come around to this Damian Lillard to Boston. And we haven't, I think another like curious thing that's happening right now. Also, as Weisberg saying in the chat, also Dame is close to PP. Peyton went to his camps as a kid. There you go, man. There you go. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. The other landing spot that was out there was the Golden State Warriors. And man, the Golden State Warriors have been freaking quiet, huh? Still can't really figure out what's next for Jonathan Kuminga. There's lots of rumors about JK, LOL. That's what we should start calling now, by the way. That should be his nickname, JK, LOL. But rumors about him heading to Sacramento, but it seems like the two camps aren't very close to that. I also don't know what Sacramento is doing. But the other thing with Golden State is Al Horford. Like the rumor, it was rumored that it was all but done that Big Al, like Feifel, was going to be heading out west to Golden State. And now I wonder if Al's camp is pumping the brakes a little bit, because as I was about to say earlier before I got sidetracked with the Dame stuff, Jonas Valanciunas seems to want to go to Greece, even though Denver is saying like, hey, you're gonna honor your contract. I mean, if he's not gonna play, he's not gonna play. Like, there's nothing you can do. So I wonder if Al's pumping the brakes to say like, hey, I would like to go. I will go to Denver if that spot is available. Because I did think that before they signed Jonas Valanciunas, or before they traded for Jonas Valanciunas with the Dario Saric deal, I thought there was going to be a real shot. Zach's also saying it is a wild thought. Are we sure Dame is out for the entire 25 season? Could he come back when JT does? Listen, the Celtics fans, I don't know what Twitter doctors you're following. All right. I know I saw Jayson Tatum in the pool recently too, and he was doing his work and he looks good and it's ahead of schedule. And we love that, right? We love it. Guys, we need to lower the bar here. We need to just assume that Tatum is going to be out for the whole season. If Tatum is most likely out for the whole season, Dame, is 100% out for the whole season. He's too old to be coming back that soon. And there's just no reason. Again, I mean, I guess maybe you revisit this conversation in like February or March. If the Celtics are somehow, I don't know, 8 to 12 games over 500, they're like sniffing around at a 4 seed. Tatum seems to be like doing really well. Okay, cool. Maybe we revisit this conversation, but there's just no way it's happening. Weisberg likes to do his dorky shit. Let's see what he says. The Jonas thing actually has a lot more nuance than what Shams reported. Jonas's agent is Jeff Schwartz, Excel Management. He happens to rep AG, Jamal, and Jokic. Sounds like the reporting, though, is coming out from Jake and from State Farm and from Steiny Mo. It does, like, if Jonas decides he wants to go to Greece, though, I mean, he can go to Greece, like, and then maybe it gets tied up in the courts. No Dunks talked about this a little bit today too. I don't really think that's what's going down, though. I don't. I think they come to a decision one way or the other. But I mean, if you like, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Tish says Dame been on the decline in the last 2 years. No way he's coming back the same. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, although you guys did say you were going to send me some Twitter doctors. Please don't. I don't need it. I don't need it. I mean, like, dude, yes, he has been on the decline in some ways. I believe he averaged like 24, 7, and 5 last year. And so, like, again, I was having this conversation about DeAndre Ayton too, right? Maybe he's not 35 to 45 to $50 million a year anymore. But if you're telling me you're getting Dame on decline for $5 million a year at a vet minimum, that's a completely different story, right? I think that changes things. I think Bradley Beal is an interesting case too. Like, if Beal right now, being one of 2 players in the entire NBA that have a no trade clause, making $50+ million a year to just come off the bench, yeah, that's bad value. That's bad value. But if Bradley Beal is making $5 million a year to be like the 5th guy on the Clippers, that's all of a sudden a very, very different thing. And so I do think the risk there is that maybe the vibes end up being bad in both of those situations. But I do think if Dame is like, hey, can you pay me $10 million over the next 2 years? I don't know. I don't know if that is true. I don't know if that's such a bad thing. I just think there's a ton of low risk there. Thank you, Boston Base. That was very kind. Weisberg was also saying, back to the Jonas thing, that you saw Matt Moore on Locked On Nuggets say the reporting from Europe is saying that this is a bit more fluid than just the Nuggets saying we expect him to report. I'm pretty sure Denver is saying we expect him to report like we're not going to release him from his contract. That's what they were saying. But the reporting too is also that this contract was in place last season too. That they already had it. They already had it in place, which is kind of wild. What's up, regulator? Checking in, hot as hell. Yeah, man. It. Not only is it crazy hot in New York City. Not only is it this hot right now. Yeah, it's 87 degrees here, but it is humid AF. I'm dying. I am dying. Yeah, Zach, go ahead. Put your off-topic question in the chat. Go for it. Speaking of topic, how about Nola Topic? Huh? He was balling out there for OKC. It's just insane that OKC just gets to add Nikola Topic to it. What's the agenda Friday? Yeah, you guys want to do a little summer league here? Summer league action. All right, so this is the schedule here. This is the schedule for the bros coming to Vegas. And if you're still thinking about it, decent deals for flights here. Going to be in Las Vegas this Thursday, flying in. I think I land around noon Vegas time, maybe 1 o'clock. Going to go check into the hotel. Then we're going to go over to Summer League because it starts on Thursday. Going to check that out. Then on Friday, and then on Thursday night, just see what happens. Just go get into some silliness, get into some chaos. That's the plan on Thursday night. Friday, I believe Friday, I got a little buffet date with my 89 Cavs bros. We're going to get a little buffet action in. Then we're going to go over to some Summer League. We're going to check out the No Dunk Show at Mandalay Bay, which, remember, I forget who was fighting with me in the chat saying it was at the MGM. Just suck it, baby. Mandalay Bay. We were right from day one. But we're going to go check out the No Dunk Show. And then again, get into some silliness later. On Saturday, we're going over to we're at the MGM Grand. That's where we're staying, but we get a little cabana for the pool. Going to hang out at the MGM. Maybe we crash some of the Top Shot events that night at Brewdog. That'll be Saturday. Then Sunday, some more Summer League. I don't know, maybe some Top Golf. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyways, that is the Summer League plan. Very excited about that. All right, Zach asked the off-topic question. Say my Celtics Mount Rushmore. I'm just gonna say, as a fan, I remember watching my first two are Larry Bird and Reggie Lewis growing up. Those are my I get to see the end of Larry Bird, but I still remember owning all of those old school tapes that you could watch, and that was just 45 straight minutes of Larry Bird highlights. So Bird and Reggie Lewis are up there. Hard not to have Paul Pierce in that category, and then Tatum. Tatum would be my fourth. Rondo gets in there too as a fifth because my Mount Rushmore has 5 heads. I loved Rondo, man. Rondo is one of my favorites, but that's it. But anyways, that is the Summer League plan. Very excited about that. And if you guys are, we've got a list of 25, I think, or so that's coming out. So come hang out if you're going to be out there. It's going to be good. Even you, Dream Shake, feel free to come hang out with us, man. Would love to see you. But yeah, that's the Summer League plan. And then I'll be honest, guys, we're gonna come back. We'll still have our normal content, and then I'm going to Europe, baby. We're doing 10 days in Europe. So I'm gonna be taking some time off in August, which I'm excited about because I don't think I've taken real time off since my Ireland trip, which was almost 2 years ago now. So really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. We're going to Paris for 3 nights. We're going to Amsterdam for 3 nights. And then we're going, the reason we're actually going is for a friend of ours is getting married outside of Frankfurt. So then we're doing Frankfurt area for 3 nights. And then, 4 nights, technically, one solo night there at the end. So really looking forward to it. So I think I'm gone the 8th to the 20th, I think, with all the travel and stuff. And then we get back from that and we're hitting the ground running. Also, if you are over on the Underdog Streets, we're going to be doing a ton of those drafts on the Elite Fantasy Sports channel. But supposedly they're dropping the best ball contest later this week. So very excited about that. Yeah. And if you guys do have recommendations, hit me up with those. What other basketball stuff did we miss over the weekend? We're still, I think those are the things that we're waiting on are Dame, the Bradley Beal stuff too. Oh, you'll be in Atlanta soon going to the AllStar Weekend? Hell yeah. That's sick, man. Congrats. That'll be fun. Trying to think of what were some of the other things. We got Seymour Pepe in here saying, let's go Raptors. All right. How are you feeling about Toronto? There's been a lot of Toronto slander across the podcast that I listen to. Like, oh, we got a Bandy sighting. What's up, big dog? Across the podcast that I listen to about how expensive this team is, how directionless or rudderless this team is, with, you know, the price points of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. I feel like it's kind of hard to like neg these guys for those deals. Like, I don't think anybody was saying the IQ deal or the RJ Barrett deals were terrible when they were signed. It feels like a little bit of the after effect of it. I do think the Brandon Ingram stuff is tough. Like, again, they have no shooting on that team, right? What is their five going to look like? It's Pirtle, Barnes, RJ, IQ, and then Grady Dick. Is that their five? And so you've got one guy on that team that can shoot threes. I mean, I guess you consider Emmanuel Quickly can shoot threes, but not like consistently. So I don't know. I don't know what Toronto's going to do. I think it's a little bit of a confusing situation. I just think a lot of the Eastern Conference, man, is just so weird. Like, let's do a quick rundown right now. Like, Cleveland, I think is in really good shape, right? They did lose their second guard or their, like, you know, backup offense in Ty Jerome. So they did lose him. But other than that, I mean, they still have DeAndre Hunter there. They were able to retain Sam Merrill. He's going to be back. So I think for the most part, they've got a little bit of work to do around the edges, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay, right? If we go to the New York Knicks next, the Bing Bong Boys. Oh, wait, I didn't even say Ingram. You're right. So Grady's off the bench. So they legit will have no three-point shooting. None. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, and they got Lonzo Ball. So we'll see what health they have from Lonzo for the Cleveland Cavs. So Cavs, I think, are the clear favorites. I know the Vegas odds have the Knicks ahead of them, but that's just because more fish will bet on New York than they will on Cleveland. So New York has the best odds. Mike Brown, they've got the new coach. I do think Mike Brown presents a little bit more of an offensive boost as their head coach. I do think, clearly the Knicks offense was in decline the second half of the year, right? They were like one of the top offenses in the league in October, November, December, and then just like went down the pooper. They did get Yabusele, which I think was a nice get for them. I don't think the Mike Brown coaching moves the needle too much for me, but I think it's fine. I think that those are the clear 1-2 in the East for me. And then I think there's a massive drop off after that because I know the 76ers on paper look nice. VJ Edgecombe, his debut in Summer League looked fun. He looked like the only man out there playing against boys. Like, he just looked like a freak athlete, right? And it does, like, I think you can get excited about the fact that your young core of Maxey, McCain, and Edgecombe looks fun. But it's how many games is Joel Embiid going to play? And if Joel Embiid doesn't play 50-plus games, you're going to be a 6 seed at best, right? That is like your ceiling. And then what does Paul George have? Is he going to play more games than podcast this season? Like, what is that going to look like for that team? They were able to, right? They kept Oubre, right? Did they keep Oubre and Andre Drummond? Am I making that up? Or did they send? No, they kept them, right? So what are you going to get from the Sixers? Who knows? The Orlando Magic have yet to win a playoff postseason series, but I do think they are in really good shape. I think they are my dark horse to finish second in the East. I think Cleveland is still going to win 60-plus games. I do think Orlando is going to end up being the 2 seed. I'm going to put them ahead of the Knicks. Not that they're going to be a better playoff team than them, but I'm talking about regular season W's. They add Desmond Bane. I think one of the under the radar signings here. Oh, there we go. Breaking news. Breaking news. That is actually good. The C's officially welcomed Simons on social. So there you go. Maybe they're not going to make a move, at least preseason anyways. But the Tyus Jones edition I thought was huge for Orlando. I really did. I thought it was just like a Bucks, Rays, and Bolts. Hell yeah. You Tampa fan, bro? I promise we'll do the Western Conference after the Eastern Conference here. But I think Tyus, they're clear. Their guard play was so freaking bad, right? And so now you add Bane, which is shooting and secondary playmaking, even though everybody gets mad at me when I say that, like, he legit is a secondary playmaker. And then Tyus Jones coming off the bench now to handle some of the offense while still having, the offense of Paulo and Franz. They were able to bring Mo Wagner back on $5 million. That felt, listen, I know you might have mixed feelings on Mo Vags. I thought he was going to get more than $5 million. I thought that was a good deal. They're clearly still lacking from the big man. You're asking a lot of Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, and Goga Bitadze for you to be a real contending team. But when you think about the bigs in the Eastern Conference, who are you freaking scared of? Is Embiid going to play? I mean, I guess Cat for sure. But I mean, it's also Cat in the postseason, so who knows what you're going to get. Then we get the Atlanta Hawks, who I'm rock hard for like an Eastern Conference team. Regulators saying it was a pity $5 million contract. I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought he should have gotten more. But the Atlanta Hawks, that's the team that I'm like jacked up for as like a league pass team. I think it's going to be super fun. If it doesn't happen now, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. They've got fun starting lineups. So you roll out Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, I'm assuming Zachary Risache, Jalen Johnson, and then Onyeka Okongwu. And then you have Porzingis off the bench. You have Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench. You got Kobe Bufkin, whatever you're going to get from him. Vit Krejci, like they've got fun names to say. But I think the Atlanta Hawks are going to be just like a couple of clicks better on defense. They're going to be able to put out some wild lineups that have Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Dyson Daniels all out there at the same time. That's just going to be the clamp brigade. So I think that the defense will be a couple of clicks better, but the offense will still be pretty elite, I think. And again, as we start to rattle off some of these other Eastern Conference teams, like the Milwaukee Bucks, man, a lot of people are like, well, Gary Trent Jr. is like a pretty good signing. Gary Trent Jr. Torian Prince is back. Like, it's a pretty good signing. Like, hey, Bobby Portis, like, that's a pretty good signing. Kevin Porter Jr. is pretty good signing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying any of the Milwaukee stuff. And I wanted to mention this earlier between the Dame buyout and the Bradley Beal buyout. I know, like, it's easy to get excited talking about this, being like, holy crap, like, the Celtics or the Warriors have a pretty good chance to get, an all-star level player for a vet minimum, or the Clippers might be able to add somebody like Bradley Beal, which is a missing piece of this cheap price. And that is cool. It's insane to me that these organizations are doing it. And I know there's like a lot of people on the Bucks side of stuff that are trying to tell me that's actually a good move that they did by doing the buyout, or that the Phoenix are like, well, at least we'll finally get off the Bradley Beal contract. At any point when you're just assigning millions and millions of dollars to a person that is no longer in the building or a part of your organization, that to me is bad. And call me big brain. Maybe that's too galaxy brain. That seems dumb to me. And maybe that's because I'm poor, so I can't imagine doing that. But that seems crazy. Anyways, okay. They also, yes, still have Karis LeVert, who's on that team, back to Atlanta. But yeah, I don't think Milwaukee's very good. I think they're fine because they have Jonas, who's, a top 3 player in the league, and that will get them to like 45 wins and then, losing 6 in the first round, possibly, right? But then after that, I mean, the Celtics, we don't know what they're going to look like. Right now, Georges Niang is in their starting lineup, and so is fucking Neemias Queta. I don't know what the Boston Celtics are going to do. Yeah, I would imagine they're going to make at least 1 or 2 more moves before the season starts, but I don't know. You have the Pacers, who now have just tweeted out a graphic that James Wiseman is back with them next year. They picked up Jay Huff Pass from the Memphis Grizzlies, which I low-key do kind of like, but there's no Halliburton. Halliburton's going to miss the whole season, so the Pacers are like, yeah, I think they're going to be feisty. I don't think they're going to be tanked because the Pacers haven't tanked in over a decade, so I don't imagine that they start now. But it's not like a real threat in the Eastern Conference. We already talked about Miami, who I think got better with Norman Powell. But again, I just think there's such clear drop-offs. And then we talked about the Raptors, who, on paper, those are a lot of guys that look like they're good at basketball, but it feels more like a fantasy team than a basketball team. So, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Rook will impact winning a little bit. Maybe Jacoby Walter makes a little bit of a jump, and Toronto looks a little bit feistier. Charlotte, it's been cool to see Charlotte make sensible moves here in the draft this offseason, but I'm not ready to be like, is Charlotte going to win 40 games? I'm not ready to do that. Wizards, you either have to be 19 years old or 35 years old to be on that team. Marcus Smart, it sounds like he's close to a buyout. So play the music. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Maybe Marcus Smart is heading back to Boston. But like, you know what I'm saying? Did I miss anybody in the Eastern Conference here? I feel like I hit everybody. I can't believe I'm Googling NBA teams in the Eastern Conference right now, but here we are. Did I miss anybody? Let's look at, if I did, it's probably nobody that mattered. Oh, the Pistons. I'm sorry. I didn't talk about Detroit. Okay. That's disrespectful. I apologize to Justin and to Maddie Harrison, but to make it up to you. All right, we're back. I think Detroit's going to be super fun. We get to see, like, I think everyone forgets. People forget. Jaden Ivey broke his leg last year. Jaden Ivey's going to be back. I think that's a lot of fun. They weren't able to get Malik Beasley because he bet on himself, but in the wrong way, not the Fred VanVleet way. And so Duncan Robinson, here you go. I think that's fun. Yeah, seriously. Get me to the Wizards, kid. So I think Detroit's going to be right up there. I think you'd put them. I'm putting them in that category with Atlanta, Atlanta and Orlando. So it's probably Cleveland, New York, and then Atlanta, Orlando, Detroit. And then I don't know what you get from Philly and Milwaukee, but I'd put them in that same category. So there you go. That's the Eastern Conference. That is the Eastern Conference. Let's do the West quickly here. Let's hold up the West. All right. Maddie says, I think the Valanciunas situation is holding up the Schroeder sign and trade, which the Pistons has Twitter anxious. Oh, which has Pistons Twitter anxious. Excuse me. That's true. I hadn't really thought about those complications. Let's do the Western Conference here. So we already talked like OKC. Not only do they have everybody coming back, they also have potentially like a lottery guy in Nola Topic who missed last year with an injury, and he looked awesome in his summer league debut. I think that's fun. That's fun for OKC. We talked about the Houston upgrades have been massive. Cam Whitmore has been freed from Houston for 2 second-round picks. He heads to Washington, which I think is really fun for fantasy purposes. Doesn't really move the needle too much for how many games the Washington Wizards win. But Houston now has the optionality or flexibility, roster flexibility that they have, right? So you have Fred VanVleet, Amin Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., Alpi Sengun. You got Steven Adams back there. You got Clint Capella back there. You still have Tari Eason. Who else am I forgetting? I'm forgetting other dudes. What do they get from Reed Shepherd this year? I think that's really fun. Let's keep working down the list there. The Denver Nuggets. So if Jonas Valanciunas is back, the fact that they turned Michael Porter Jr.'s money into Cam Johnson, they got Bruce Brown back as well as Timmy Hardaway Jr. I think Denver is primed to be right there. We already covered the Clippers. The Lakers, I actually am not super interested in what they did. I mean, they did get a bailout with DeAndre Ayton's buyout. I think that will kind of plug a leaking ship hole. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but I think that is kind of fun. Yeah. Also, sorry, DJ Local, great point. Kept him under the first apron. That is huge. Also, DJ Local in the chat, and we haven't done this yet.
DJ Local. Another one.
There we go. DJ Local and a Jeb and Dustin sighting. You love to see it. Yeah, they stayed under the first apron. I think that's good. But yeah, back to the Lakers, right? And a lot of people are saying Kevin Love maybe to the Lakers. Guys, listen, I think Kevin Love is great. I love him. I'm a fan of his Banana Republic ads. I'm a fan of his Instagram. I'm a fan of the basketball that he played 10 years ago. Caleb Swiss, not super healthy right now. So I think sometimes we get ourselves really excited about, but where, Kevin Love, actually a pretty good fit there at the Celtics. I don't really know if Kevin Love going to the Lakers moves the needle too much. I mean, it does for vibes. He's a great vibe guy, huge vibe guy. I don't think he's going to stay in Utah, so maybe he goes to the Lakers. I don't know. But the Lakers had a Jake LaRavia. They also had a Jackson Hayes, that piece of shit. And then who else? I think that's it. Like the Rook or whatever. A rookie, right? They had a rookie too. But I don't see this Lakers team really competing. I mean, they'll compete because they have Luka and LeBron, but I think they are a clear step below the rest of those teams that we're going over. They just have no big presence, man. It's just not going to get it done. I don't trust DeAndre Ayton enough. We've already had multiple teams give up on him, and maybe it's situation based. And Luka has done, if nothing, Luka has out there propping up bigs. Mark in the chat says Kevin Love can still play. Is that fair? Wait, what do you mean? Which part of it? Which part of it is it fair? Do you think? I'll pull a basketball reference, man. I'll pull a basketball reference. Let me pull it up now, and let's look at what K Love can do. Kevin Love here for the Miami Heat played 23 games last year. He averaged 5 points, 4 boards a game. 5 points and 4 boards a game. The year before that, he played 55 games and he averaged 8 points and 6 boards. Before that, 7 points and 5 boards. Before that, no, this is in the same year. So it was the same thing though. And then, so I mean, this is I don't know. I wouldn't say he's good. I don't know. They got Austin Reeves too. Yeah. And maybe they make a move with Austin Reeves. Who knows? But I don't really see the Lakers I mean, I see them finishing somewhere between 5 and 7, and then we talk about them a lot. And I think the like real intriguing thing is does LeBron just kind of chill and go back? Lakers still might mix in Wiggins. Hey, here's the take, guys. Here's the take. Rui's better than Andrew Wiggins, at least for what the Lakers need. Is that a crazy thing to say? I mean, they need Rui for his defense, for his length and his size. I mean, his shooting is kind of better than Wiggins from 3. Is that crazy? Or is it just name recognition? So we like lean Wiggins? I don't know. I think I would take Rui over Wiggins. Is that nuts? Do I get canceled for saying that? I don't know. Maybe that's crazy. But that's what I would do. I would just keep. I think that's like an unnecessary move by the Lakers. Let's keep going with the West, right? So you have Minnesota Timberwolves. They lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They were able to retain both Naz Reid. They were okay. So Stan, as a Miami fan, says absolutely not, and I don't like Wiggins. I don't know. Let me pull up some stuff. But anyways, Minnesota was able to keep Naz and keep Julius Randle. They did lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but this is going to be a real opportunity for some of those Minnesota young guys and Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham to make a little bit more of an impact. So Rui averages 13 and 5 this last season, shot 41% from 3. I think those numbers are obviously lower because they were playing with high usage guys like Luka and LeBron for most of that season, but 41% from 3. Wiggins here. Wiggins is probably, I mean, he's a smaller defender, but still a solid defender. He shot 37% from 3 on 18 and 4. I don't know. Anyways, let's keep going here in the West about some of the other teams. Memphis, I think, is kind of in an interesting spot. They got rid of Jay Huff. They added Jock Landale. I mean, I think they are going to be closer to the bottom of the play-in situation. They feel like to be in a 9-10 situation. The Warriors here have still yet to really make an offseason move outside of sending Kevon Looney to the New Orleans Pelicans, but it's going to be their first like full season of Steph, Jimmy, and Dre. But like, can they play a full season at their age in their point of their career? The Dallas Mavericks, I don't know if anybody else saw this, but supposedly they were a 3 seed in the West last year, but it was all separating by like 1 game, right? Did anybody see this Kyrie like Twitch stream or something? Or maybe it's Kyrie. It is Kyrie. Maybe he was on Kick. But that he said they were like, will you be back for the playoffs? And he's like, he basically said, I'm not going to rush it. I want to be 150%. That would make me a little bit nervous if I was Dallas. But because Dallas right now, Mavericks fans, they signed D'Angelo Russell and they were like, we're good now. I'm like, I don't know, man. Really? You sure? I mean, a lot of teams have said they weren't fine with him, so I don't know. But anyways, Dallas, they get Cooper Flagg. What do you get from him? I wonder if they get another like vet guard to go over there. And then Phoenix is going to be a dumpster fire. Portland is going to be trying a little bit harder this year while leaning into the youth movement alongside Drew Holiday. And then you have the Spurs, who I think are going to leapfrog a couple of these teams. I think my take is that the Spurs are going to finish ahead of the Grizzlies, the Kings, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, and the Jazz. So that's going to put them at an 8 seed. I think if you get a full season of Wembanyama alongside De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, I think that's going to be a pretty deep and a pretty good team. So I kind of like that quite a bit. I like it quite a bit. I think the Kings are going to be a dumpster fire. I think they're going to miss I don't even think they're going to be a top 10 seed. I think I would take the Trailblazers over the Kings this season. I'm going to take the Spurs too. The Pelicans, I think, are going to be such a weird-ass team. I mean, they only won 21 games last year, right? But they won't tank this year because they do not have their first-round pick because they traded it with the Queen pick. So they added no Fears. They added Fears, and they added Fears and Queen. They traded for Jordan Poole. They moved off of CJ McCollum. They added Kevon Looney. Now you have Zion Williamson there. They don't have DeJounte Murray most likely for the whole season. Maybe by the end of it, most likely not. And they've kind of come out and said they're not going to trade Herb Jones or Trey Murphy. So they actually have a fairly deep talent team. I don't know how many guys they have that can actually knock down a three-pointer. I guess they have Trey Herb and Jordan Poole. But because they're not going to tank, I imagine they finish a little bit better than what we expect for them. And then there's like Utah, who's not going to be good. I know Austin Ainge came out and said we're not going to tank, but that's just not going to happen. So I think if we had to rank this here, let's actually, the Queen trade was crazy, Mark. Also, Mark, I feel like I haven't seen your name before. If you're new, thanks for hanging, dude. Let me blow this up a little bit. Let's do a little prediction time. So let's do the Eastern Conference first here. I'm gonna go Cleveland to be the number 1 seed. We're gonna go Cleveland, Orlando, New York, Detroit, Atlanta. I think that's gonna be my top 5 right there. And then I'm gonna put the Sixers here at 6. I'm gonna put the Bucks at 7, and then Miami at 8. Boston at 9, and then Chicago or Toronto at 10. I think that's what we're looking. I think that's what we're looking at right now. And I think, again, people are pretty mixed on the Boston situation. I just don't see Boston literally has no center right now. They don't. And people are trying to talk themselves into Xavier Tillman. And Nehemias Queta is I think Nehemias Queta has a little bit of a ceiling, but not in a team that's competing, and he gets himself into tough foul trouble a lot, or just weird defensive assignments. And then it's Luka Garza. I think we're just going to see these phantom situations where Jaylen Brown misses 2 weeks, Derek White misses a couple of weeks, right? And so I don't see Boston really competing this year. So that's my Eastern Conference take. How do I feel about the 7-team trade? I thought that was super overblown because we already knew all these trades that were happening. And then everybody's like, holy shit, 7 teams are involved. I'm like, yeah, but it's cash considerations. Tesla, what's up, Tesla? I think Ainge's son has proved himself in his new role in Utah. Can we elevate him to Raptors president? Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead. You get it. Go take him. I'm a Bulls fan. What's going on with Giddy? So Josh Giddy has there's nobody else competing for Josh Giddy. So I think we see these contracts take a while to get signed because right now Giddy wants more money, but there's nobody else offering competing offers, because nobody's got any cash. Everybody's strapped for cash. So because of that, we're just going to it's Giddy, Kuminga, Cam Thomas, Quentin Grimes. I think all of these guys will probably sign 1 or 2 year deals that are pretty cheap just so they can get back into unrestricted free agency would be my guess. But yeah, it's kind of a weird spot for all of them. Yeah, Grimes is still out there. I think and I know Giddy's got the Giddy thing is weird because OKC moves off of Josh Giddy. OKC immediately wins the title. And Josh Giddy also left OKC with some weird stuff happening, and because we never really got to the bottom of the weird stuff, even though we kind of did, but not really. I think there's just we're slow to give Giddy some props here. I thought he played really well the second half of the season, but it's one of those things did he play really well because they moved off of some guys and so he just had freedom to run around on a somewhat bad team? Same thing with Kobe White. Are those stats real? I don't know. How do we feel about CP3 coming to the Lakers? Final dream come true? No, I think CP3 is going to the Clippers. I think he's going to the Clippers. But I do think somebody like Quentin Grimes, if he landed in the right spot, would be pretty fun. But he's probably trying to get his first real payday too. So I don't think he wants to just go to a winning situation. I think he's probably trying to capitalize on what he did that second half of the year while the 76ers were tanking. Let's do the Western Conference. And if you feel like I did anything shit on the Eastern Conference, let me know. I thought that seemed pretty good. I'm going to still take OKC as the 1 seed. I'm going to go Houston as the 2 seed, Denver as the 3 seed. I'm going to go Clippers as the 4 seed, Timberwolves as the 5 seed. And then after that, I'm going to put let's get spicy with it. I'm going to put the Spurs as the 6 seed. Spurs are going to avoid the play-in. Golden State Warriors don't have enough young guys. They're not going to care about it. They would like to get out of the play-in, but I bet they're the 7 seed again. And then after that, I don't know. Is Memphis good enough to be the 8 seed? Let's put Memphis in the 8 seed, Dallas in the 9 seed, and then fuck it. Let's get the Pelicans in the 10. Let's get Pelicans in the 10. Sneeps wants more Luke Cornett talk. Luke Cornett's deal came out where year 3, so he signed that 4-year, $41 million deals, right? The 3rd year is partially guaranteed. The 4th year is not guaranteed at all. So be curious to see what that looks like. For old Lukey Cornett, baby. But yeah, there you go. I was hoping we were going to get a Sham Slam here during the show. Thought we were going to get one. But nothing yet. Nothing too spicy yet. I wanted that Dame signing to just happen. I wanted it to just happen already. Hey, real quick, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out, here, let me share screen in a different way. But if you guys haven't checked out what I've been doing over on the, oops, I shouldn't have done it like that. What I've been doing over on the Celtics Daily, that YouTube channel, go check that out here. That it's been growing a little bit here. If you guys haven't been seeing it, up to almost 1,400 subs. The views keep on piling in. Even over the holiday weekend, we were cooking. So if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you haven't checked it out, I'll drop a link over to that. And then obviously too, if you haven't messed around with our Elite Fantasy Sports channel, if you're into fantasy basketball specifically, some fantasy baseball, some fantasy football as well, but most importantly, it's fantasy hoops. We do a lot of Underdog and So Rare over there. Come check that out as well. I'll drop a link to that in there. Go give it some love. Mark says Denver will be good if Cam can stay healthy. I have them as a 1 or 2 seed. Yeah, I put them right there. I think OKC will clear the 1 seed pretty easily. But I think Denver and Houston will be like neck and neck for 2 and 3. I think they will. Here, Waves trade. Here, wait. Oh, did Chris Haynes tweet something out? Let me see. Is that about the Bradley Beal situation? He waived it? He's only waiving it if they have something in place that he wants, right? Let's see. I'm gonna go look. Okay, no, I haven't seen a Haynes tweet since July 3rd, so I haven't seen that about him waiving it, and at least not yet. All right. Oh, Lakers Hayes. Well, he doesn't have a trade clause. He doesn't have Jackson Hayes doesn't have a no trade clause. Right? There's no way. So what he wouldn't have to or are you saying that the Lakers are waiving Jackson Hayes? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I hate Jackson Hayes, man. Oh, he waived the trade kicker. I got you. Yeah, exactly, Mark. That's what I was saying earlier about like the DeAndre Ayton, Bradley Beal, all that stuff. Like it's completely different when the price point's different, you know? Like when you're not paying that same money, it changes the value. You guys I'll hang around for a few more minutes. You guys have anything else from the NBA streets that we need to hit? I feel like we covered most of the important stuff. I was looking through my bookmarks from the weekend to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Again, we're waiting for Chris Paul. Malcolm Brogdon's out there too. I know we haven't seen him play basketball, but Malcolm Brogdon's out there. Bradley Beal, we're waiting to see what that will look like. But that seems to be pretty much it, I think, until we get to start overreacting to some summer league, which again, very excited about. I think Dame does go. Bucks Rays Bolts is asking. I think Dame does land in Boston. I think Chris Paul goes to the Clippers. I don't know. Maybe there's a world where both Chris Paul and Bradley Beal go to the Clippers, but I think Phoenix would be dumb to just like release him like that. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just think, but Phoenix hasn't done a smart thing in a while. Is that rude? But I don't think they have. All right, let's call it there. So again, check out we'll have some fantasy content dropping tomorrow to get you ready for the double dribble, which we'll release later this week on Underdog. Sign up for promo code HOLD, 100% deposit bonus match up to $1,000. Bang, bang, bang. Who's your rookie of the year? Is it Cooper? No, I don't think it's going to be Cooper. I think it's going to be somebody who's going to put up bigger stats. I think Cooper's going to be awesome, but he's playing next to guys. Like he's not on a bad team. I think rookie of the year, it's easier to just scoop up. Like I could see Trey Johnson getting it. I think that's probably a fun one. Trey Johnson's a fun bet. Somebody like that. Ooh, Patrick Coin, can you start over? How dare you? Bodivine in here too. What does a Quinton Post sophomore bump look like? Oh, yes. Please send me some Amsterdam Rex. Hell yeah. You're not going to be out there, right? Aren't I just going to miss you? Did you say that? I think I'm there the 11th to the 14th. 11th to the 13th, something like that. Only a couple of nights. But yeah, excited to see everybody out there in Vegas. If anything crazy happens in the next couple of days, we'll fire up a live stream. We might fire up something Wednesday anyways, but otherwise, looking forward to seeing everybody out there. It's going to be good. Dame could go to Miami too. I think the Norman Powell thing changes it a little bit. But appreciate everybody hanging out today. Go like, subscribe, click all the things. For you new people that were hanging, thanks for hanging. We'll see you guys soon. We out.